All right, this is Mr. Bailey. I couldn't be at school today, so I put these notes on Google Classroom, and I'm going to kind of read them to you to make sure you understand them. It's essential question 16. What are the terms and sessions of Congress? And here we go. So up here's where I'm starting in terms, and we've got two houses of the legislative branch, so we're going to go over each of those. What it means by a term is how long do they get to serve. So in the House of Representatives, all 435 representatives get elected for a 2-year term. So if you remember, our representative's name is Blaine Lukemeyer. I had mentioned that I voted for him back when I was in college and that he's been our representative for 20 years. Every 2 years, the people of Missouri, or sorry, the people of our district have had a chance to vote for him or vote for someone else. And we've continued to vote for him. In the House of Representatives, they get a 2-year term. After 2 years, they're up for re-election again. That's how it is for all 435 representatives in our country. And they can be reelected. You see here, there's no term limit. They can be reelected every 2 years for the rest of their life. If we think they're doing a good job, we can keep them in office. The reason we do all 435 up for reelection every 2 years is that it's a quick turnover. We assume that we're not going to get 435 brand new people. Just the odds are against it. So we leave it up to the people. And if we happen to somehow ever one day get 435 brand new representatives, we'll live with the fact that we have nobody in office with experience. We didn't want to live with that chance in the Senate. I've said a couple times in class that the Senate is the more prestigious of the two houses, and we wanted to make sure that we never had 100 brand new senators. So in the Senate, first off, we give them a 6-year term. That shows you there we think the Senate's more prestigious. We expect them to get more done. It'd be like if I gave you a homework assignment and I said you have a day to do it, or I said you had a week to do it. For the week, I probably expect more people to get it done. If it was a project, I might expect it to be you do a better job on it. If you give somebody more time to do something, you expect them to do more and do it better. That's what we expect in the Senate. So they have a 6-year term, but to keep experience in office, like I was saying, we don't want to have 100 brand new senators. We don't even want to have that chance. We have what's called staggered elections right here. And what that is, and there's an example down here, is only a third of our senators are up for election every 2 years. We have an election every 2 years in November. All 435 reps are up for re-election those in November, but only 33 of the 100 senators. And the way it works is down here. Claire McCaskill was our senator. She was elected in 2013. When she was elected, Roy Blunt was already our senator. If she just needed help, even though he's a Republican and she was a Democrat, if she needed help knowing, where can someone from Missouri get a cheap plane ticket back home? Where's a place that has good barbecue that's similar to St. Louis barbecue? She could talk to Roy Blunt and he could help her out. If she wanted help with, where can I go to find out, get some help with a liberal agenda or a liberal viewpoint to write this bill, she could talk to any of the other Democratic senators that were already there. There's always going to be at least 67 people in the Senate that are already there to help you just because of these staggered elections. When she was elected in 2013, so were 32 other senators. The other 67 were down here on their own cycle. As she served her 6-year term, you can see Roy Blunt came up for re-election in 2017. If he had lost, the new person could have come in and asked Claire McCaskill for help, and she would have had 4 years of experience to give them. He won, didn't need experience, but now Josh Hawley is our new senator, defeating Claire McCaskill, and he has Roy Blunt here to give him any help he would need. And so we want to make sure our Senate always has experience. We expect them to do more. We expect a little more from them. And because of that, we want to make sure we always have experience. That's staggered elections. That's something you'll have to know for this next test. Now, I just moved the screen, so now we're down here on the last part of the notes, and that's sessions. And what a session is it's the yearly meetings of Congress. And what that simply means is, I said every 2 years we had a new election, and that was for every third of the senators and for all 435 reps. Well, in those every 2 years between elections, Congress has to meet at least once a year. And so every year of those 2 years is called a session. So there's 2 sessions in a congressional term. You can see here, Congress is divided into 2 sessions. One is 1 year, one is another year. So right now we are in the first session. of this term. And when we get to 2020, we'll be in the second session of this term. Okay. And so down here, it just lets you see how that works. Congress begins its session every year on January 3rd. That's when Josh Hawley just took office. And this is the 116th Congress our country has ever had. And what that means is the 116th Congress began on January 3rd of 2019. That's our current Congress. And after 2 sessions, after the year 2019 and the year 2020, we will be to our next Congress, which begins on January 3rd of 2021. That means for the next 2 years, the 116th Congress will have all the same faces. In 2021, we could have 435 brand new reps, and we could have 33 brand new senators. To see this, you can see we take the 116th Congress we're on now, multiply it by 2 for the 2 years. We get 232 years of Congress. That's how many we would have at the end of this Congress. Congress ends in 2021. There's the math, it works out. Really what you need to know on this set of notes is you're going to have to know, I'm going to move this here, you have to know how many representatives we have. You have to know how many years their term is. You have to know how many senators we have. You have to know how many years their term is. You have to know that both of them have no term limit, which means unlike the president who can only serve 2 terms, we can re-elect representatives and senators as many times as we want until the day they die. The reason we have staggered elections was to keep experience in office. And the final thing you have to know is just what is a session? It's the yearly meeting of Congress, and really that's it. Okay. When you finish going over these notes, and you do need to write them down, I'll put that in the directions. Sorry, I forgot to say it at the beginning of the video, but this is going to be something you will turn in tomorrow. So you need to write these notes down, hit the pause button, write them down, go back, write them down now, but they do need to be written down for a grade and turned in. There is also an assignment that goes with this over term limits that I will have the substitute handing out. Thanks. Hope your day goes good. I'll see everybody Tuesday.